Hello and welcome to the Scott Sportscast Fantasy Football League Week 5 matchup. It is me, myself, the one, the only, one half of the twins, Alexei Scott. Speaking of the other half of the twins, what is going on, George Scott? How you doing, pal?
Yo, what is going on, Scott Sports Nation? We're here. We're recapping week 4, and we're breaking down week 5 matchups.
What's going on with the Scott Sportscast Nation? I would assume sports stuff. But anyway, we have our week 5 of our fantasy football league. And what an interesting first 5 weeks it has been. Well, I guess 4 weeks going on 5. So let's start out with our week 4 results. We had a lot of people here tied going into to this week. We had a 4-way tie for 3rd and 4th place. So let's see how these matchups kind of shook out. First up, I like that. You have the Scott Sportscast host, the one that boasts, the one with the most, the one who puts any kind of jam on his toast, getting the dub this week, 117-93 over the wife, the battle of the household, the sleep on the couch win. So ended up getting the win over Josephine here. And speaking of the devil herself, who wears what is that, Michael Cole, not Prada? Come on in, hon. I see her peeking through the door. So here comes to the microphone, Big Mick Scott Lombardi herself, Josephine Scott.
That's me.
And the crowd goes wild.
That's me.
It was a virtual, digital kind of an audience, so bear with us.
Yeah, they're still buffering. Well, so since you're here, talk us through this first matchup. It was Big Scott Mick Lombardi going against the host that boasts.
You know what? The host of both may have won, but I'm not used to this podcasted life.
A fist from the mic.
Not used to like you famous folks. Let's see. The Bears lost. That's all I know that counts. And that the Bears suck. And the Bears just suck.
Oh my God.
Well, that was very informational if you're a Packers fan.
Bears suck. Packers are 4-0. That's all that counts.
You know what? At the end of the day, you're kind of right. Well, one game behind. It just takes Bears beating Packers head-to-head to win.
We will see if that happens.
Yeah, so it looks like Calvin Ridley's big zero kind of.
Yeah, that zero banger by Calvin Ridley really was the defining moment in that game. in the
The big difference at kicker too. Definitely those two sealed the deal right there.
Oh, the tight end, Tonya. You mean where is? Oh, no, I have to go. I actually just picked them up on waivers. Tonya.
Everyone that picked him up, I hate you all.
Yep, that was me. So. All right, get back to your nightly cartoons.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by, huh? Big Mick Scott Lombardi with a little guest appearance and gone with the wind. So yeah, other than Calvin Ridley's 0 banger, that really killed her team because he easily could have got 20 to 25 points and really made this a close game or a win. So thank you, Calvin Ridley, for getting locked down by the Bears. Oh, that wasn't the Bears last week, but was it?
No.
No, because yeah, it was the Colts played the Bears. So yeah, Packers. Yeah, thanks, Packers.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Yeah, I don't either about the Packers. So all right, so Scott Sportscast getting the dub there, moving to 2-2. Now we have our next matchup. Speaking of the Yaga Man, look at this score with a 1-point win.
The Yaga Man getting it done, moving to 2-2. Feels good to be 500. I do gotta say that. Now, this game was expected to be close, but anytime it's a 1-point game, you can't be sure. So it could go either way, and this is one of those games could have gone either way. Points were left on the bench for both teams, but that's just fantasy football. We can't make the perfect decision every week. That we wish we could, but we don't always. However, a 1-point difference, huge in the standings. Getting to 500 again. The big difference came down to Monday night. I was down about 40 points. I needed Rodgers to have a big day, and I needed the kicker to have a good day. Well, the kicker had an okay day, but Rodgers had a fantastic day and sealed the deal. He wanted to be a Yaga. He came on the team. He started beasting, and he never let up even in the fourth quarter, and that's why he's the captain of my team. And that's why we're at 500. Feels good to take out one of the top guys. But we got a lot more wins to go. We 4 weeks in. Now we start figuring out who's gonna push for those playoff spots. This is the most important 4 weeks of the season now. This is really gonna dictate a lot. I'm excited going in with some momentum.
Oh yeah. So I mean, hell, 1.665. So 1.16. Man, that could have been two kneels by the quarterback. Yep, that could have been
sack. Could have got a fumble.
Stopped at the 1 yard line. Anything,
yeah, but instead goes out and finishes the job, seals the deal. Fantastic. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. So, hey, he earned his bye week this week, I'll tell you that. Good work, yeah. Rodgers. Good work, Rodgers.
Good work.
Bring in Big Mick Scott Lombardi. We'll do a little chant real quick. Rodgers. Just joking.
Yo, dumbass, asses.
That's my quarterback.
Need to Stop with that Rodgers talk. No, but yeah, and if you really look down to the graph here where it shows the huge moment, that last second touchdown by Aaron Rodgers puts you over the edge to get the dub. So he literally carried your team this week. And
It
that's
all comes down to Monday night.
and that's what you want. So
And I always lose on Monday night because of just they got one person, that person goes off. So it feels good to be on the other end of that and getting it done on Monday night. Little comeback victory, fourth quarter, last minute drive. Let's go.
hell yeah. So our next match. Woo! We have a blowout, folks. We have 92 by Bang Bang Niner Gang to 151 by Mariota Had a Little Lamb. Woo! Not even close. So we have a decisive win this week. Let's take a look what happened. So what do you notice first off?
What I noticed first off is Nick Chubb getting injured really made this one out of reach. You never expect to lose your running back. Other than that, it's just a matter of one team going off and the other not showing up. What do you got on it?
Yeah, I see. Even though Kyler Murray had a great day, he just got outplayed by Dak, which is crazy because he's been lighting it up all year. But the Cowboys still haven't been able to really win.
I mean, whenever Dak puts up 43 fantasy points and Joe Mixon puts up 36,
36, yeah.
Very hard to lose when two players are scoring 70 to 80 points, you know?
Well, when both your running backs don't equal half of one of them, yeah, that's a big issue.
And probably happy to have Galladay back in the lineup.
100%.
I know for the Yaga man last week, having George Kittle back really made a huge difference.
At 31 bang.
Really got the score up to competitive levels. So let's see these top tight ends if they're gonna have a strong start, because it was a shaky start. And now it seems tight ends are starting to get used more in these offenses. Teams are building a little bit more chemistry, but receivers are getting hurt, running backs are getting hurt, tight ends aren't really getting hurt. So tight ends have been starting to get into that midseason form. So I think you're going to see the tight ends start to pop off a little bit more. So be active on the waivers for some tight ends.
Oh, yeah. Tight ends it's been like if you only had one or two fantasy producers really each year, and then now it's kind of spread out quite a bit, but you have that group of people who get about 40 yards, maybe a touchdown, so you get 9 to 10 points. So that's kind of your average for your tight ends. So most of them are pretty average, except for you got your guys like Kittle, and I mean even Ertz has been pretty average recently, right?
Yeah, he's been pretty basic. So we got to see if Philadelphia can get that going, but that's a whole nother story. So let's get back to finish recapping this game. You know, you'd like to see Travis Kelce, put up more points. You'd like to see him be better than basic. That really hurt, but was able to overcome with all these other players. So when your superstars don't show up and your other players do, it's real nice.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you only have Kyler Murray and Andrews really going off, it's hard to win. It's hard to win, especially whenever you have only two players scoring about close to 100 points. So
Yeah, exactly. That's real tough.
40 and 30, that's 70, 74 points right there. Like, geez, that's just two players. So,
All
yeah.
right, so let's go to our
So
next
it,
matchup.
so
I'll
it,
line
it
up
came
first.
down, to a blowout. The 2 versus 2 players that went off weren't even close.
Yeah.
So our final matchup that we had was 134 for the undefeated, the last of the dying 3 undefeated Bravehearts, 134 to 99 against the 831 Marmadins. So let's take a look. Marmadins had a solid team, but with all of the game delays, protocols, people catching COVID, the Chiefs didn't do as hot as everyone thought they were, and that really showed on the scoreboard here.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, he did his thing. He had a solid day. But when you're used to seeing 30 plus points every week from Patrick Mahomes, it's strange to see a 21 or 23. So average day for him. Kareem Hunt had
Yeah,
a good day. Carlos Hyde had a good day. Everybody had a good day, but they didn't have a great day.
yeah,
And the real difference came down to Seattle's defense. And even the kickers were close. Leonard Fournette put up 0 points,
yeah. That could have been the tell-all, end-all.
but then you got Mike Evans putting up 20, Delvin Cook putting up
Putting up
25.
20. Russell Wilson putting up over 20. Your defense putting up over 20. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, whenever
So
you got multiple players over 20 points, you're gonna have yourself a nice looking score. But yeah, Marmadins just didn't have anybody really bust over 20 except for like 1 or 2 people. So that's really what it came down to. Because whenever it's a 30-point game, I expect usually about 15 for a decent player every week. So that's a 2-player difference. That's a good gap.
yeah,
And
you
with
did.
a 0, that's scary.
Yeah, and in this league, all the difference could be one game.
Yep.
We gotta every win matters in the NFL, and we gotta remember that these moments here, these coaching decisions early on, is coming back like ghost to Christmas past, right around December time when we're playing playoff football.
Oh yeah.
So
So
every week matters.
it does. So next up we have our week 5 matchups. So you have the number 4 Scott
Oh wait, hold on.
Sportscast.
Before we get into that, let's take a look at the standings here. Take a look at the league leaderboard.
Okay, so we have Bravehearts all alone, undefeated, 4-0 at the top. Second place, you have 3-1. What in the hell? Third place, you have the 831 Marmadin, 2-2, and you have the Scott Sportscast at fourth place, also 2-2.
Oh yeah, all tied here.
The Yaga
2-2.
Man went up 2 spots to get to the 5th spot. Mariota, Big Scott Lombardi, and Bang Bang Niner Gaines slid all the way down to last place after his hot start. So So not too shabby. Looks like me and you are duking it out with Jesse for that third spot really, and then the leftover takes number 4. So
Yeah, there's still a lot of football this season, hopefully.
it's starting to get only one person creating separation in a good way. But yeah, so it's all these wins are really going to start mattering this week, as previously said. Week 5 to 9. Those are the most important games right there. That's going to tell you where you're going to sit at or who's close to you. So let's get back to the game. Let's get back to the game center and hit week 5.
Who we got up?
Big week. So our first matchup, we have the Scott Sportscast host, the host that boasts, taking on the undefeated Brave. This looks like it's going to be quite a matchup if the projections stay the same. Looks like we're going to intersect right there at the tail end of Monday night. So hopefully that doesn't stay true on Blue's part. So we have the biggest matchups this week are, it looks like the advantage at running back is going to go to Braveheart, but the wide receiver advantage is going to go to the Scott Sports or the host that boasts. But we have a huge matchup here in the wide receivers. We have Tyler Lockett versus DK Mac or DJ Mac. What? Metcalf, yeah. Could not spit that one out. So Metcalf versus Lockett, man. That's who's going to get the touchdowns this week. Hopefully neither of them, or just Lockett. But so that one's going to tell the tale of the tape on the wide receivers. If Metcalf gets all the love like he did last week, it's going to be bad news for me. If Lockett gets all the love like the week before that, it's going to be great news for me. So I had to make a switch at defense because that Tampa Bay offense is doing really well. So I took the number 1 defense, the Colts, and I'm going to play them against the Nick Chubb-less Cleveland Browns, who have been doing good, but most of it is based on that run game. So you got the best defense versus a handicapped offense. I think that that's going to do well for the Colts over the Bears. So other than that, just got to hope that Russell Wilson doesn't throw 18 touchdowns and the running backs don't go off for an absurd amount. But with Zeke versus the Giants, I don't like that.
Hey,
So
can you
this one's going to be close. And we are back. Sorry, we had to take a restroom break, but let's get back into it. I just finished giving my breakdowns for week 1. So, George, give us your breakdowns on this week 1. Scott, the host that boasts versus Braveheart.
Yeah, so I think the deciding factor here is going to be if Drew Brees goes off or not. We know that Russell Wilson is an MVP candidate. He brings it every time he's out on the field. Kind of a down week last week, but he can put up 40 points on you in a hurry. So that Minnesota Vikings defense, not the greatest. See some opportunities for both quarterbacks to shine. But I'm going to go. The real difference here is at the running backs. Ezekiel Elliott against the Giants, Delvin Cook against the Seahawks, two of the top running backs, both against really good matchups. Mike Evans
I don't
says
like
questionable, but Kyle Fuller is a pretty good corner. Eddie Jackson with the double team help probably, but if he's in the lineup, he's a real good play. He's always consistent. Tough matchup.
well, he's
but
never
probably can't.
done great against Kyle Fuller either. Let's keep the history in mind. Last time that they played, it was 46-10. I mean, given you didn't have Brady, but Trubisky went off for 6 touchdowns. Mike Evans wasn't able to do much against that secondary. So I don't have the most faith in Mike Evans, even if he plays. So hopefully he leaves them in there, and because tomorrow night's the game. So if he leaves them in there and gets a 0, that's a huge point swing that could happen.
Yeah, and Leonard Fournette looking doubtful. So that would have to be.
I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about Cook versus Seattle's defense. Seattle has a pretty good run defense. Yeah, he's gonna get some production, but I don't see him going off. So that makes me happy. I don't see him having that 27-point game. I see him having maybe more of a 15-17 on a good day. So the biggest concerns with me is that Zeke Elliott could probably rush for 5 touchdowns against the Giants in a quarter. So that one scares me big time. DK Metcalf, Metcalf, that redneck tongue of mine, wants to pronounce things different. But yeah, so Metcalf, he versus Lockett, that's gonna be the deciding tell. If Lockett outscores Metcalf by a decent margin, expect me to win this game. If Metcalf is the one who's getting the touchdown, I probably won't have a chance.
Yeah,
So,
I could see a pretty even split between those two. Yeah, Tyreek Hill looking to take advantage of that Las Vegas defense. The speed is just tough, but they guard Henry Ruggs every day in practice. They might have some ideas on how to slow him down a little bit, but Tyreek Hill can go off for 44 any week. Juju Smith. Oh no, Jay Smith, tight end against Buffalo. Buffalo's pretty good defense. I don't know how they are against the tight end specifically, but they've been playing some good teams.
What worries me about Metcalf here is if you look at the first 4 weeks, the dude has yet to get under 90 yards receiving.
That's crazy.
So hopefully, it's one of those days because he has a touchdown in every single game except for last game, week 4. So it's like, well, hopefully that continues. Because when he averaged 16 points a week, woo.
Yeah, and then you got Melvin Gordon going against that New England defense.
That's my biggest concern.
So based on what we see on the paper here, because lineups always change before we actually play the game. So as we got it right now, I got to give it to Braveheart slightly. I think this one could even be one of those 1-point games. But I got Braveheart's edging this one out, keeping that unblemished record for now.
Yeah, it's hard to go against the undefeated person, no matter what it is. But yeah, it's really going to come down to Melvin Gordon. He's been putting up 16 points a week. It's just, is he going to get in the end zone this week? And Tyler Lockett? Can he steal the touchdowns from Metcalf this week? If those two things happen, expect a win for me. But if not, it's going to be Braveheart. So that one's going to come down to it might come down to the Seattle game itself, which is odd.
Yeah. And then there's a few players also playing on Thursday from Chicago and Tampa Bay.
I have to make my decision on Allen Robinson tonight over Robbie Anderson. So it's like, ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette, doubtful. Got to find a replacement for him. Unless got one on the bench type of thing for Bravehearts. Mike Evans, you don't know if at least he's playing Thursday instead of Monday night, which gives a little bit more time. But looks like he's questionable. He'll probably play.
But it's one of those, even if you wait that long, who can you replace him with if worse comes to worse?
Exactly. But
you gotta prep for
so
somebody.
Who you taking?
I got the host at both.
Okay.
Not just based on favoritism, but the fact of the matchups. I feel that this is one that I can win. It's just gonna be everything's gotta go. Not everything, but most things have to go swimmingly on my side. But it just takes a couple bad games on Braveheart's side, you know. So if they could shut down Delvin Cook, that puts me in a good position. If they can shut down Russell Wilson, keep him honest at about 15 to 17 points, we're gonna have ourselves a game.
All right.
But so we'll move on to our next game, and Mariota had a little lamb who just had a huge win last week. I mean, 60-point huge.
Big time.
Taking on the 5th place, the man in the race, the one who has that fit waist, the Yaga man. He just moved to 2-2, tied with the group, basically a 4-way tie for 3rd and 4th place if you don't count points, if you just count records.
Yeah, we're getting into the most important 4 weeks here. Yeah, let me break this one down. We got Justin Herbert, who's been slinging the football like a veteran all season long, going up against New Orleans, who has quite frankly given up a lot of points through the air.
Well, I'm nervous about my first mission.
So I'm taking a chance on the rookie. I think he's got what it takes. He's been consistent every week. Rodgers is out. He did his thing. He earned his bye week. Now let's see if this Justin kid can earn his spot.
Yep, keep it going.
So that's kind of the wild card there. That's going to be the real determining factor in this week. The quarterback matchup, because Dak Prescott's been throwing for like 500 yards every week. He's been balling, but his team's been losing. But that doesn't matter in fantasy football. What matters is points. He's getting them, and he's got New York Giants. That's an easy matchup. But division games are always weird. Giants played the Cowboys tough. Jason Garrett's the former coach of the Cowboys, his first game with the new team or division rival Giants going against his old team. So that's going to be kind of interesting. He might know how to stop that offense a little bit, like game plan, but I doubt it. He'll probably just clap.
I mean, it's been a while removed too, so it's like, you know, who knows what they implemented this year.
Exactly. Then you got Joe Mixon. I don't know if he goes off like crazy like last week against Baltimore's defense, but he's a he's a pass catching back. He could get one of those wheel routes for a long touchdown and really add some points quick. He's always a threat. Josh Jacobs is definitely a threat. Division game against Kansas City, but Kansas City's been playing good defense. Got to get Galladay out. He's got to bye.
McLaren, he is
Questionable. But he's going against Jalen Ramsey, looks like.
well right here for Washington, no participation in practice for McLaren. So that's some good news for the Yaga man.
Well, it might be. But then also Travis Kelce here going against. So he's got a lot of players in 2 games, it seems.
Yeah.
He's got Dallas players, and then he's got Las Vegas Raiders versus Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to know what happens with his games as soon as those games pretty much end. Then as far as my team goes, I like my advantage here at the running backs. Well, not so much in the passing, but the touchdown potential. I feel Miles Sanders could get a good receiving touchdown. He gets a lot of PPR points. He's a goal line guy. Then you have Derrick Henry, who has a bye week. Team's got some illegal practices in this week. So
Yo, dumbass, asses.
So we're going to have to figure out the implications of that, probably a first-round pick and a hefty fine for breaking COVID-19 regulations. Other than that, I think wide receivers here, Amari Cooper, good matchup against the Giants. Stephon Diggs, got a good matchup here against the Tennessee Titans. Then you got Greg Kittle against Miami, who has been tough on tight ends, but it's Greg Kittle, let's be honest. Or George Kittle, sorry. George Kittle.
Who's done good against Kittle recently in the past 3 years? Let me know. Because
Exactly.
I can't think of anybody. So
Yeah.
My biggest thing I see is his biggest wide receiver in McLaren is questionable. So that means that there's a good chance that he won't play. And if he does, how productive is he going to be? I don't see a 27-point game for somebody who has a hamstring injury, because you're not going to be able to go get those 60-yard plays. Your hamstring hurts. You shouldn't be running that fast, or you shouldn't say you have a hamstring injury.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky either way.
Cardinals defense versus the Jets, great play.
Yeah, but here's the twist. It's Joe Flacco coming off of neck injury and surgeries, getting the start here for the Jets, who have been abysmal. And Sam Darnold, I don't know if he wasn't the solution, but I don't know if he was the majority of the problem.
No, it wasn't all him.
Awful. Le'Veon Bell couldn't do nothing behind that line. It's just atrocious.
Then he went on IR.
And Joe Flacco, I don't know why he is gonna be believed to turn that team around. I think this is a good week for the Cardinals defense. Solid play. So
yeah, the thing about the Jets is that, you have Le'Veon Bell on IR. That offensive line has always been suspect. That defense can't stop water if it had a bucket.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so I don't trust anything on the Jets, especially that offense. When you have a quarterback coming off of a neck injury, only one of them has been successful, and that's Peyton Manning. So I don't see Flacco pulling a Peyton Manning. especially not with that team. The receivers are suspect, the line suspect, tight ends are suspect, running backs are suspect. I want to say Jets just brought somebody in for running back, actually, but it's not going to matter. Was it what's his name? Frank Gore? Isn't it Frank Gore?
I'm not too sure.
I'm pretty sure the Jets just picked up Frank Gore, and he was playing in the Monday night game. So, as much as I love Frank Gore, I can't root for him with that line. I mean, he'll get you your normal running back points, maybe about 10. If he gets a touchdown, 15. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give the edge to this game for Yaga Man.
Yeah, give me the Yaga Man here with the slight edge. I think it'll be a little bit closer than what the paper says, because we got division games and those can always get wild. Other than that, looks like it's gonna be, if my team comes and plays solid, they can get the W, but it's got to be a team effort here. So let's give me the Yaga Man.
Yaga Man. Nice.
Let's go to game 3 here. What do we got?
So we have Big Mick Scott Lombardi, who made her little debut. I guess it's not a debut, but it's more of a cameo on the podcast earlier. She is taking on the 3-1. What in the hell? Give me what in the hell. I like his team. They score big. Yaga Man brought it last week. I think what in the hell is going to be able to shake it off and bounce back with a win here. Let's see. The biggest problems for what in the hell is going to be if Deshaun Watson can really take that next step with that offense and put up that 25, 30-point game. Because, Lamar Jackson probably will. It says he is questionable. Let's see what that's about. Okay, so it's a knee issue and did not participate in practice today. So, I'm pretty sure you could bank on the MVP playing this week.
Yeah.
They're just gonna rest him up, make sure that he's good for game day. So I wouldn't put too much stake into that one.
Yeah. I think
Aaron Jones on a bye for is gonna be a big problem. And then you have Ridley and Brown. Your two wide receivers are questionable. So
and your tight end doubtful. So
that's just tough.
This is a case of just one of the top teams running into an injury-plagued, just trying to get back to healthy. Give me what in the hell here, taking it. I just think he's got some good matchups this week. Lamar Jackson against Cincinnati. Against Cincinnati. Then you got Mike Davis against Atlanta. Atlanta's been giving up a lot of points. Alvin Kamara against anybody.
Mm-hmm. Alvin Kamara single-handedly beat me against what in the hell with that 36 points,
Cooper Kupp against Washington's a good matchup. So.
Oh, that's a huge matchup.
I like it. Give me what in the hell here. Getting it done. Moving to 4-1.
Oh yeah. And that brings us to our last game. Let's see. We have the 8-3-1 Marmadins taking on the Bang Bang Niner Gang in a Sapawaga showdown in a Battle of the Samoans in Brotherly Love 2. We have Jesse Sapawaga taking on Jeremy Sapawaga. So, who do you have in this Battle of Samoan Island Chief match?
All right. So for 8-3-1 Myrmidons, you got the MVP from last year. Well, you got Patrick Mahomes.
Year before, yeah.
You can debate that he's the MVP every year, but whenever you're the MVP of fantasy football, Patrick Mahomes putting up a lot of points. He had a down week last week, but you got a division opponent, Las Vegas. Could be a lot of points in that game. Could be a blowout. You never know with division games. I expect a solid performance. Kareem Hunt, questionable, but if he does play, he's going against an indie team that is real good on defense. Edward Solaire, pretty good. Solid team here for 8-3-1. Juju Smith might be going against Darius Slay. Should have an okay day, maybe not a great day. But then we move over to Bang Bang Niner Gang. We got Robinson going against Houston, division game. I like Robinson. He scores more points in fantasy than his team scores in a season, it seems, in real life.
For multiple weeks.
But outside of that, Kyler Murray's got a good matchup. And Justin Jefferson might have an okay day. Kenyon Drake should bounce back. Steelers might be a good play against Philadelphia with that offensive line banged up, but just not enough to get past 8-3-1 Myrmidons. So give me the Myrmidons winning by a little bit. More than 5 points, but not more than like 15.
Yeah,
So
the way I see this
decisive.
the way I see this matchup is you have Marmadin quarterback advantage, running back with that questionable Kareem Hunt, filling in. What is it for Nick Chubb? No. Yeah. He's filling in, or is it him and Nick Chubb are splitting snaps, but
Nick Chubb's
both of them are
now,
hurt.
So.
Yeah, but also Kareem Hunt is questionable. So
that's
another reason I wanted to play that Colts defense against the Browns. You know, is their whole run game's depleted, which is what their whole offense is based around. If no run game, they have no pass game. So we'll have to keep an eye on that matchup. It's going to take some big plays by the lesser guys on Bang Bang to win this, and I don't think that they can. Hell, I mean, I might trade him for Robinson if I could find a good trade, but outside of Robinson, Murray, and Anderson, the tight end, I just see the other matchups going in the way of Marmadins. So give me Marmadins by 20 points.
20 points. Big, hefty win.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a matter of 16 to 5, you know?
Yeah.
So that, who did you have? Marmadins, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I feel just a little bit more solid, a little bit more consistent every week, putting up, big numbers. So
oh yeah.
give me 8-3-1, taking the victory.
Yep. All right. So who do you see being the lock of the week?
Ooh, this is a tough week, but I'm gonna have to go with what in the hell as my lock of the week. I think just a lot of injuries and just a banged up team here. If you can find a good replacement for Aaron Jones, it's tough. Niners defense could do some good things for you, but they just lost to Philadelphia, so I just don't see them being able to put up enough points as as, as you need to compete with what in the hell. You need big numbers, so just don't see it happening. Give me the lock of the
Yeah.
week.
Nice. My lock of the week's gonna be a little bit different, even though that's probably maybe the safest one. I'm gonna empty out my bench and pick Braveheart. No, no. So I'm gonna go with the Yaga man over Mariota had a little lamb. And Charles, if you got a problem, I'm in Fresno. You can find me. Come over. I'll cook a family dinner. We'll have a good time. But as for this matchup, I'm gonna have to take the Yaga man. I feel that the game plan is gonna come into fruition, and the injuries are gonna continue to pile up for Lamb. If his receiver and Delaney Walker can't go, it's gonna be hard to go against the Yaga man. So give me Yaga man taking this one as the lock of the week.
All right. And who's your toss-up game?
My coin flip game, toss up game is gonna be honestly between me and Braveheart. It's gonna come down to my running back or Taylor Lockett versus DK Metcalf for the win. To me, that one's just gonna be a real. Expect a 5-point difference.
Yeah, I actually expect the Yaga man and Mariota had a little lamb to be my toss-up game. If Dak Prescott throws for 500 yards again, puts up big numbers, and Joe Mixon, these running backs can go off like they did, it's going to be tough to beat. So division games like the Las Vegas Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs, those are offensive teams that like to light up the scoreboard. But division games are weird. Could be a 17-6 type of game out of nowhere. But this one will be more of a shootout, in my opinion, and that equals fantasy points.
Exactly.
Still think
You
I
want
could
the
get that
team who's
right.
going to get the garbage time or be in the shootout. You don't want a game to end in the fourth quarter close.
Yeah, you don't want it to end in the third quarter.
Mhm.
Your coach takes you off the field.
Exactly. So we have the 831 Marmadins versus Bang Bang Niner Gang, as I'm going to take as my upset of the week prediction, as Bang Bang Niner Gang takes out the 831 Marmadins and proves that the little brother is just as important as the older brother. I'm pretty sure Jeremy's younger than Jesse, but Jay's older than Jesse. So if I have that family tree correct.
Yeah, I would definitely take as the upset of who could pull off the upset of the week. It could be the host that boasts. He's got some weapons. Well, you got some weapons that could compete with Braveheart. And if Seattle puts up a dud, it really opens up opportunities for your team to stretch out that lead.
My
So
biggest concern lies with Metcalf. If Metcalf gets the looks, then then sayonara.
yeah, that's a true And neither of them could get it. It could go to Carson, the running back.
Let's
It's
hope.
it, it's gonna be a fun game to sit there and watch you guys biting your nails over.
Oh yeah. Woo! And
Let's close this podcast out.
yeah. So just a quick tidbit. I have been known to end some undefeated streaks throughout my years, pretty much every year. So can we make it one more? The Scott Sportscast needs your support. It needs your praise, and it needs your cheering. Because this week we got to take down the last undefeated team. Everybody loves an undefeated team, but everybody loves when an undefeated team loses more. So we got to make sure that happens this week. I know it has nothing to do with me, the fans, or anybody else but the players, but I feel that if we pull together, we can get it done.
Yeah, if you yell at the TV, they can hear you, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure
They play harder.
every time we do our MMA coaches corner, we tell people that they need to do something, and then 5 seconds later, either they do it or the announcers say it. So, so it wouldn't
That's
be the
true.
first time.
But all right, let's close this one out. Any comments?
Yeah, I mean, we probably did this podcast about 3 times now, so it's nice to finalize it.
Yeah.
But so this week in the Scott Sportscast, you can look forward to, what is today? Wednesday, so it would be Thursday. I don't think we have anything planned. Friday, stay tuned. We'll have most likely, if everything works out correctly, a Step Inside the Squared Circle podcast for the watch along for WWE SmackDown. This weekend, Friday, you can expect our predictions on the MMA Coaches Corner for the fight night with Morales versus Sanhagen. Sanhagen. There you go.
Corey Sanhagen.
Corey Sanhagen. So we'll have our predictions Saturday night. We will have the watch along for the MMA Coaches Corner to break down and give you guys all of the juicy information you need while watching the fight so that you can understand exactly what's going on instead of just saying, hey, why doesn't that guy get up? And I don't think there's any. Actually, also Friday for the WWE SmackDown. It's supposed to be for the WWE draft, so you'll have Raw and SmackDown competitors switching shows. So that's going to switch everything up, and so that should be an interesting episode. Other than that, like I said, this weekend we have our MMA Coaches Corner. We have football this weekend, and we'll get ready for next week. So, any closing comments on the Fantasy Football League Week 5 matchups for you?
Let's get it. Week 5. Now we start to push for the playoffs. Now we're looking for seeding. Now we're looking to build teams through the waivers. Hopefully the injuries slow down for a lot of these players and we just get back to some good football. I mean, it's been great football so far. I'm not saying that it hasn't been, but I'm excited for mid-season football. Some of the most intense games. You start to separate the NFL players and the fantasy players, but give us as much football as you can, NFL. Well, we got it. We missed it
because with the
mid-season.
Titans and the Patriots and Chiefs and these other teams getting COVID and doing illegal practices, who knows how much longer we're gonna get. So
Yeah, it's
hopefully
crazy.
these teams get their heads out their rear ends and can figure out their A's from their elbows.
Yeah.
And figure out that, hey, this is bigger than just them. This is bigger than just money. This is about keeping a society and a culture at ease through this pandemic. Because if we don't have sports, you've seen what happens.
All right. So tune in next week for recap shows and our weekly pick'ems.
Oh, yeah. So we will have our weekly pick'ems released for you on Thursday, which is tomorrow. So we will have that tomorrow before the Thursday night game. Stay tuned. We will have this episode tonight. MMA Coaches Corner Predictions Friday. MMA Coaches Corner live breakdown and analysis Saturday. So we got a busy rest of the week coming up for everybody. And buckle up. Stay tuned because the action is here. The future is now. And we just love talking sports. So come talk with us. But this has been the Scott Sportscast with our Fantasy Football League Week 5 matchup. Thank everybody for tuning along and have yourselves a great night.